You've been pretty constructive on the markets, and rightly so, for the past several months. But what's it going to take to get us past 2,800, 2,815?
Well, I suspect that investors are taking a pause here, not just because the Fed is taking a pause, but mostly because they are worried that if we do get a deal with China, that there might actually be a lot of selling on that. You know, the old adage about selling on the news. So I think we're just kind of waiting for the to see if there's going to be a peace dividend from a likely deal with the Chinese. Will the global economy improve, and will that be a positive for earnings? We all know there's going to be an earnings recession in the first and second quarters, and so those seasons are coming up, and I think investors are waiting to see whether the first quarter earnings season, the guidance might be positive or negative. So I think everybody's just kind of taking a little pause here, but I think the underlying outlook for the economy is pretty good.
Do we all know that there's an earnings season for the first and second quarters? I feel like it's been a very mixed consensus. Why do you think that, Ed?
Well, you know, the comparisons are very, very difficult simply because we got this huge tax cut at the beginning of last year. I mean, last year was kind of a rip-off for us bulls. The market fell 6%, and most of that was at the end of the year after earnings were up 25%. So I think there's actually a little catching up to do here between the fabulous level of earnings we had last year, and that level was permanently raised by the tax cut. So I think it's largely the comparisons to a year ago, which are very difficult. But then beyond that, I think we're going to see a reemergence of earnings growth and revenues growth.
Yana, Salesforce is one of your top 10 holdings over at Eaton Vance, and I'm wondering your take on growth companies like that, which have had a lot of momentum for quite a lot of time, given where we are in the general economy and all the uncertainty. You keep backing companies like that?
Absolutely. I think Salesforce is an example of an outlier, and that's what we're seeking in our focused growth strategies. And basically, when you don't have much growth to go on, and everyone is worried about slowing growth globally, Salesforce and the results that the company has posted just, again, highlights revenue growth in excess of 20%, free cash flow generation in excess of 20%. And then I asked the question of how many companies that have a market cap of over 100 billion can double their revenues in the next couple of years. And here's a company that's basically telling you that by 2023, it will be on its way to doubling its revenue base. There are less than 2% of companies that are growing their sales and earnings growth in excess of 15 to 20%. So again, it's a highlight of micro stories that are brewing loudly and are being rewarded by the market because there's not enough growth to come by.